Okay. It is a little demoralizing as the game goes. I mean, for Link himself. I mean, Link is one of these ultimate heroes in gaming. I mean, when you do your top 10 heroes in action games, Link's gonna be up there. I mean, first he's just a kid, like 10 years old. I mean, just thrust into this world, this war, basically. Not so against like evil and all these giant monstrous creatures, and he does it just because he cares. He's a great character.
And yeah, I will agree, it did demoralize the series a bit. If they had kept the original game graphics, it would have become something close to what Ocarina of Time was. However, I felt that they still did a good job on the Toon Link games, even though some people actually criticized the games for changing it to Toon Link, but I felt that the games were still pretty strong on their own. Moving on.
Each game, though, was great. I mean, Ocarina probably reigns. I mean, Majora's Mask introduced a great effect with the ability to change into one of the 3 other races you see throughout the series.
And the time manipulation part of that game was
yes,
fun.
The time manipulation was fun, but it did offer a level of annoyance. Like, you beat a temple and you're like, sweet, the area's clean and everything. Like in the spoiler, when you beat the forest temple in the game, the waters are clean from which they were poisonous, and you can swim in the waters. You can walk around in the Deku Forest, go into the temple, and it was cleaned up. You were able to walk around, but then you have to use your time manipulation junk to get back in time and keep going. And then when you try and go back, like, waters are poisonous. There's all these things trying to kill you. It got a little annoying. I mean,
it was still a good game. It was not as good as Ocarina. It was a direct sequel to Ocarina, but it did bring up some pretty repetitive tasks, in which point you would have to go back and finish the temples that you'd already completed in order to progress farther into the game. I felt it was still a strong game. It was worthy of being the sequel to Ocarina of Time, I felt, and it was not as good as Ocarina of Time, but it was still a good game. I would like to have seen you play something other than Kid Link in that game, but that's just how the story went.
Well, I mean, they offered Adult Link in the version of the Ultimate Mask of the game, version of the Master Sword, for like the other games have. I don't remember the name of the mask, but I mean, and then I believe the next follow-up would be Twilight Princess, and like I said, I think it's a wonderful game. It's beautiful. I mean, the artwork they designed for the Midnight World, and like everything that's covered in Twilight Realm and the Twilight areas, and it's beautiful artwork, and the game itself is super fun. It gives you this old school Zelda feel, but with a new edge to it. I mean, old school Zelda fans will never see another game like the originals, and you will notice that if you talk to them about it. But Twilight Princess was probably one of the greater ones because it was just a fun game, offered this whole new gameplay style for Zelda, switching from Wolf to Link. I mean, throughout the game you were Adult Link, in contrast to Majora's Mask where you were Child Link, but I mean, it still offered great fun and just made the game really...
I agree with Matt. Twilight Princess was a phenomenal game. It was a fun game, although there are a few points in the game that actually nagged me. Like, I enjoyed the concept of turning into a wolf, but sometimes whenever you're, spoiler alert, sorry, whenever you're constantly having to go pick up bugs, having to go face these monsters as a wolf, it can get repetitive and it can get a little boring at times. I also felt that a couple of the things that they used in that game were actually not stolen, but actually used in Ocarina of Time, and I felt it could have used a little bit more creativity in that sense. But other than that, it was... Okay. It was a beautiful game. I felt it was a good game, yes.
Though, like you said, it was repetitive, and the bug-killing stuff was really... Yeah, it did get a little old, I mean, but the boss fights as the wolf were great, I mean...
Yes, it was...
And if you do notice how our conversations switch a little bit, and such like that, that is technical difficulties on our part, we are sorry.
Technical difficulties, or you could call it technical difficulties, or you could call it a bunch of people interrupting us.
You could call it
constantly.
my family. Sorry,
Yeah, okay.
but
if you haven't realized yet, we are not certified game reviewers yet.
but we're like y'all. We're real people, real gamers, offering our review. I mean, we're not the people like on IGN who are usually really accurate with their reviews. I'll have to give them that. Who are paid to do it. We're just kids who like to play games, and we're gonna give you our reviews, our thoughts. But anyways, back on the topic. And then you get into the whole Toon Link stuff after Twilight Princess. And from there, I mean, some of the games are good. I mean, it is demoralizing to the entire series, but I call it the fall of Zelda.
Well, you won't have to worry because Nintendo is now is in development of making a new Zelda game called not Twilight Sword, called Skyward Sword. It is telling about the Master Sword, and
Well, I mean, you haven't released much info on
They
it.
have not released much info on it yet.
So, most of the stuff you're going to hear say in the next couple seconds or minutes about the Skyward Sword, if they're from him, are mostly accusations and stuff what he thinks. From me, there's probably stuff I've heard.
I've heard this, I've read about it. As he stated, they have not released enough info on it for us.
I mean, E3 is recently, well, not recently. It was back in the beginning of June. This is July. They covered it. I mean, it shows an interesting gameplay. You're back to the same kind of Link you were in Twilight Princess, not the wolf turning one, but that style, that artwork of Link. And it's only for the Wii, because the GameCube's kind of outdated at this point in time. So I'm curious to see how the gameplay will be. I mean, because I'm not a big fan of the Wii and platformer games like Zelda tends to be. But, I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, it's not the Toon Link crap that I'm not fond of. It's the Zelda stuff that Zelda fans tend to like.
Now, what's different about the Skyward Sword is it will have full motion control for the Wii remotes. It's made specifically for the Wii, unlike Twilight Princess, which was made originally for the GameCube and then moved on to the Wii.
Sorry to interrupt, they will be doing something, they will be bringing a feature from a Toon Link game. They will be bringing the Wind Waker's sailing on the boat.
Okay.
Alright, as I was saying, it takes the Wind Waker style driving the boat to the islands to flying in the skies on a bird. I think it was a bird that they showed at E3.
Mm-hmm.
And you can jump off at any point to be on the ground. I mean, it takes a little bit of, if you think about it, this is a reminiscence to Twilight Princess's Sky City level. But on a different level. But I think this is pretty cool. I mean, they haven't shown if the boss is Ganondorf or some new boss.
What I've heard is it is not going to be Ganondorf.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is something Ganondorf could really fit into. But, I mean, it's Zelda. Ganondorf fits in there some way or another. It's Ganondorf. He's penultimate evil.
Now, another thing new to this game is they're actually taking the adult Link from Twilight Princess, and it's his sort of design in it, and but they're also taking the makers who made Wind Waker. They're going to take some of their style and artwork and bring it into the game to make it a little more vibrant and a little bit more cartoony.
Yeah, they are making it a little more colorful, but it's not the Toon Link.
It's not Toon Link. It is.
If you're like me, you don't like that Toon Link crap. It is this, but with just a little more color and vibrancy.
It is the Link that everybody loves. More vibrant in color, but a little bit more rounded on the edges. It's not. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a smoother playing game. It's you know,
I mean, this is the last from one of the last games they're releasing for the Wii before the Wii U comes out. It'll come out later this year, 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
I heard it's next summer that it comes out, but that's
okay. Late 2011, early 2012.
Summer next year. Yes.
Yeah. So we are looking forward to playing it, and we'll play it when we get it, and we'll put up a game review letting you know what we think. Direct link from this.
Whenever we make that review, we'll direct link to this video. And so Matt, what would you give the Zelda series?
To this point, with the games I've seen, out of a 5-star scale, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because if it wasn't for Toon Link, the series would probably be a straight 5.0. 4.5.
Alright, I'm just going to give it a solid 5 stars because I believe that the series is far beyond any other series, and the level of time it takes to beat them, the story design, the character design, everything in it is the best game series I have played. And leave comments and leave comments.
Yeah, just leave some comments of stuff you want us to do, and we got a couple more coming out to you in the next day, a couple hours, day or two. So, look to watch the first couple, then start throwing us ideas, and we'll start going over them. I am the Game Man. I got over 200 video games in my collection, so all the way back from 64 to PS3 and 360 and such now.
So leave us what you want us to do, and we'll get to that.
Alright, this has been Matt.
And this has been Aaron.
We are the M&A Reviews, and we have been glad to give you this rant on the Zelda series.
Thank you.